space for the teams to work and need space and kind of creating this opportunity for new developers, new studios, get a taste of what it's like working already inside a professional studio environment. Toby has a long-standing commitment to social entrepreneurship and giving back to the community here, and seeing many of the new studios and companies that fall here. So this has been a really wonderful thing working with First Playable on the Level Upstate program this summer. I should also, of course, mention why it's even is able to happen in the first place. So Level Upstate and the Center of Excellence. These are supported by NISTAR, the Science and Technology Division of Empire State Development in New York State. So this is one part of the state's investment and strategy in recognizing the games industry here in New York and working to grow. Those of you who are also working in games, we probably talked about this before, but I'll also just mention the tax credit that was recently signed into law this year. This is the Empire State Video Game Production Tax Credits. This provides tax credits for production of games for the costs going into making them, and technically can be claimed both by enormous AAA studios and by small indie teams. We've seen the kind of impact that this kind of government support can have in the industry in many other places around the country, around the world. It's a really promising thing to me to see New York making that kind of commitment here, and kind of recognizing all the hard work that developers here in the state have been doing for years. So that'll be a really exciting thing. Let's see. Also, I want to recognize Maurice Sutton, who had to leave a little bit early for childcare duty this evening, but Maurice is an assistant professor in GSAT, and one of the faculty who's delivered the program, and so then Diana, also faculty in GSAT, back there, medically getting the student to work. And of course, Gary and Sean, the administrative coordinator for the digital gaming hub, was pull this entire thing together. See that? Okay, so maybe I'll just continue talking about cool stuff that I'm seeing going on. Wait, listen, guys, are ready? You're ready? Okay, here we go. I'll be back more fantastic anecdotes and philosophy story or something. Yeah, I'll be back with more tax credits. Development stimulus there in the program. You all open up your seats. Okay, everybody? Okay, thank you.
Can you hear me now? Or can you hear me? I'm trying to say something. Hello, 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 everyone. Hello. I hope this is working. Hello, hello. Can you hear me now? Yeah, I can. I can hear you. I can hear you. Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay. I'm trying to say something. Hello, 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 everyone. Hello. Thank you. I hope this is working. Hello, hello. Sorry, there's a bit latency here, so I will just start right away. Sorry for the inconvenience, everyone. My name is Brian Kim. I'm the founder of MedKit, and MedKit is creating a digital therapy game that teaches social interaction to autism spectrum children from age 6 to 8. What we're doing differently from other education and social interaction teaching games is we're creating a digital therapeutic sessions, and we're using game as a main education driving tool. The reason why we're doing this approach is because there are many great education games, but it lasts only single session, meaning that there's a little bit less of replay values in each level, and also we're not sure the generalizability, which is if the class learning will last more than one session outside of the classroom, even through adulthood, is kind of questionable. So that is why we're doing more of a session approach, where there is a 14 different sessions to teach social interactions. In game term, this will be like 14 different stages. If we look in detail by just selecting an example for sessions 4, each session will divide it into children session and parent session. And each session will be divided into theory and practice. The reason why we're dividing these into 2 sessions is because there are a lot of games that try to cover this in one settings, but what end up is they will teach the theory and then end up doing like a quiz type of game where they give you the rewards based on the correct or wrong answers. We want to avoid that and create a different type of game where it provides a digital playground to explore different outcomes that they have learned in the theory session, especially for social interaction. That is important to know the different outcomes and reactions from the characters in social settings. And our game mechanics support this. Our game mechanics consist of combination of 2, which is Ace Attorney and the Magic School Bus, if you remember that old game. But Ace Attorney style, meaning that a player has to find different social cues and evidence that supports the emotion of the characters inside the game to recognize the situation and emotion of a character. And Magic School Bus type of situation, mechanics where players can explore different outcomes, reactions by doing maybe right, but maybe wrong answers, wrong social interactions from the characters. If we look at the game, it will be more self-explanatory. You can explore by talking, but also finding evidence around the environment. And the different outcome based on positive or negative answers. And it not only shows the verbal social interaction, but also shows the physical social interactions. And most importantly, it connects the emotion and evidence found in the game to teach connecting other people's emotions, situation, and their social cues to recognize the feeling of other people. So that's a basic gist of the overview of the game. Narrative-wise, player has to give like evidence and emotion to this robot on the right-hand side, because the robot wants to learn more about human emotions. Basically, this game is okay-ish, but it really needs a therapeutic value in order to become a therapy game. This is where the parent session comes in. Previously in the game, you explore and do whatever social interaction you might like, but in order to review if this interaction is right or wrong, we're going to provide the parent session in this total therapeutic program. For example, if I was playing the game and I was ASD children, I gave chocolate to Emily, and I must say, Emily looks sad because I don't like chocolate, so Emily must not like chocolate also. But that wasn't the case because Emily laughed and showed the happy face and etc. So based on this game data, parents will receive the rubrics from hospitals and give the more therapeutic uh, feedback, which will occur inside the home. So in home, they will do like a mini therapy session between the parents and children together. So this combination of children and parent session is the basic gist of digital therapy subscription kit. And I know that clinically proving the game is really hard and long process. So I want to first launch this non-therapeutic exploratory education social game first in the market to test if this is working or not. And this is possible not only because we know how to, we have experience on publishing games, but also we have a hospital connection, especially in Korea, who specializes in autism spectrum children education. And we hope that to expand this in upstate New York by reaching out to ASD community in the United States. So we will have more localized version in the United States also. So that's it. That's what we're making. We're Tim Medkit, and I'm open for any questions. Thank you so much for listening.
So we have some questions.
No. My question is, so do you? We muted it in our there. Yeah, we muted. We got one of those. I was wondering if you feel like parents should be playing the children's part with their kids, or if it be unsupervised swimming for the children. Audience, not heard.
You want to talk about any questions from there?
Yeah, I think it's probably the computer.
You visualize the question.
I was wondering if the children's part of the game could be unsupervised learning, or if you think it would be better to do that with the parent. No.
Sorry, the audio is really bad, so can someone repeat the question in the chat or?
We try to see if it'll definitely be better from back here. Brian, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the question was about the game being unsupervised for the children playing it, or if the parents should play it with them.
So parents will replay the game with the children with the supervised version. Also, first they will just play it by themselves to explore different social outcomes, and then play with the parents to get the creative value of what's the right social interaction. That is because there are a lot of times when autism spectrum children misunderstand the sarcasm or the humor. Especially, I heard a situation where children was like, he talked so much cheating, and then friends weren't really fond of him or saying that to the teacher, but he was expecting to be able to praise from friends. So I think it's important to first explore the unsupervised game interaction, social interaction inside the game, and then do the supervised version of this this action will result in this reaction from people.
Right, that's.
Is that working? Do you want me to talk about?
I think maybe this one.
Hi, can you hear me? I'm a high school special education teacher, actually, and I work with kids that are on the spectrum, and I have family members who are on the spectrum, and I'm just curious how far you've gotten with this. Have you been able to actually work with kids yet with this? And how is that going?
We're actually testing the game with children next week. Although we've been doing that, but it was pretty hard because it's there.
Right.
It wasn't there beforehand. We couldn't just do it like this will sure something will be format accessible and it will be ethically true. So we're expecting that to do it next week. Beforehand, we did it with the children to just test out the usability if the button is okay to touch. And that part is done, but we haven't really had the chance to get feedback from children.
Do you have some sort of way that people could volunteer if they're interested in helping you develop that? If they have family members or students, if they're close to the families, they could see if they're interested in helping you guys out?
Yeah, of course. We're always open to it, and we have email lists that gathers up the volunteers who want to be in. We have a lot of people from Autism Exposition in Korea who wanted to volunteer, so we're expecting them to join to test this out. Yes. Thank you.
Okay, well, all right. I should probably move back to this mic also, but Brian, I wonder if you could maybe talk a little bit about any differences you've seen between Korea and the U.S. In culturally, in the ASD communities in those two countries. How treatment programs work, any of those kinds of differences. Because in terms of starting a company making games, you're working for two different markets. And so, have you found any differences or similarities there?
Yeah, first, the huge difference is the openness of the mental disorder. I wanted to, the reason I didn't have a lot of chance to work with ASD children was because I started this in Korea when I was with my parents living in Maryland. But they're a really close community. They don't open up, so it was hard to reach out to them and play test. They were really positive about this game, but also they were thinking they didn't want to expose their child to not yet proven therapy. So that was the hard part. However, in United States, the ASD spectrum community is more open. I have a lot of feedback that were applied into this game right after reaching out to them. Uh, for example, I wasn't involved in any community in Korea for a year, but I was in the community within 2 weeks, and I started getting their feedbacks, especially on art side, not on the therapeutic side, but the more gamified side, which was really helpful. And I always wanted to launch this more in United States first because more of my personal desire also. I had a lot of ASD friends in United States and wanted to help them in a various ways. So culturally, the openness of a medical condition is the huge barrier, but It was less in United States. However, um, the similarity is that it is really hard to get the proven therapy to the mental disorder because I I cannot grasp what they're going through. Like theoretically, I know this will help, but I'm not sure how to help. Like in a real sense, as I design games more and more, this game more and more. So the similarity is how to really practically uh, be helpful, create a game that's really helpful for them, not like you learn this like this emotion and you can go outside and play with your friends, voila, like that's not the case. So I think that's the similar type of boundaries. Yeah. All right, thank you.
So our next presentation is from Nautica Studio. And here's Benny Wilbur. There you go.
Okay, hi, I'm Ben. Okay, and my team, Nauticus, we are undergrad college students. I are undergrad at RTI, and then musician is undergrad at Carnegie Mellon. So we met through previous works, and we chose each other based on mostly work, full quality. And as of now, we're not an official company entity, and mainly we formed it to test our wish of get out of college, get go is just self-employed, the dream of a small studio. So we're testing that out, testing our vision. And definitely we're just at the beginning of it. So we're still trying to recruit more members to build up our team. Now, to the product that we prototyped during the Upstate, the waves. So our game started from the world, like Dune, that movie, yes. It was the movie released last year. It was like an out of world experience for me. I watched a lot of sci-fi movies, and that just stands out so much. So I was like, why sci-fi people like desert and so much? Why can't there be an ocean? I can make it out of this world, but that's where the idea of this game comes from. We mostly started trying to make a environment that is very unique and rarely seen on the screen, and it's all the weird dimensions of our game would be trying to solve the visual elements. Now onto the game itself. The game itself. Okay, so we were originally planning for a more tactical, strategic approach to the game. But as our prototype came along and more people got their hands on how things go, it's like accident. It's both a lot of reflex. I can see the missile coming. There's more like twitch kind of gameplay. So that's an accident plan. And our sort of unique selling point will be sci-fi ships and weapons, and taken from just not to be confused with other military scene games. We will be aiming towards the arcades of simulation, so it's more friendly and more easy to get hands on. And another game that really inspired me to create this game is Faster Than Light. It's roguelike, especially. So it's like this, their ship jump from point to point, and then the random shops, random encounter, random events. Every place is different, and that's what we're trying to make. On a grander scale, we would like to have a similar throwback random campaign. That the events, encounter shops, all that starts experience up. And the key of all is the large variety operates weapons and ships, each place you might never meet this kind of ship, but find yourself in circles of this kind of weapon, so maybe build your game with this. And now on to the builds that we made. So as of currently, the build we made is to demonstrate the core experience. So not the campaign stuff, the battles, the 3D real-time battles. In order, the goal would be to capture developers. So we will post this demo build along with our game design document, like production schedule, all that, onto game development, game dev clubs, both RPI and Carnegie Mellon. And we will try to recruit more team members and to really start making this game because, as I've listened from the panel just today, and also from experience working as volunteer, when you're all working on credit, a lot really depends on the phase you have for the project, because it's basically investment for them, invest their time onto a large project. So that's why we decided to make a very polished demo as a proof of our concept, and then we'll recruit them. As for the full development, we'll aim for it to be finished in a year with a team of 8 to 15 developers. But always the schedule is always more optimistic than reality is. Maybe it will take 2 years. But in the end, goal will be released on Steam and Epic, and the end goal will be enough revenue to start a business. Thank you.
So, what specifically makes you want a 8 to 15 person team? What's the reason behind that?
Well, because we want to plug in the artistic assets, models, the environment, the cloud. I want them to visually top notch. We'll have dedicated people just to do that. And I'm actually a modeler, even though I did all the programming this summer. So I would like to get back to my main business, making ship models. But from my standard, programming all these just for the demo, it's a lot. I even haven't incorporated all the other torpedoes, like mines, like airplanes. It's from a very helpful class in RPI. In that too, we also had a 8-people team, and we had a half a year, a whole semester to the game. So I think it's a more realistic approach for that many people a whole year. I mean, even that I think is a bit optimistic. So yeah, the second part of the game is visually stunning, visually awesome. So a lot of artists and then programmers to do the programming, so the artists can do their creative magic.
I got that one. So, this is Unity, right?
Yeah.
So, C#.
Yes.
Okay.
You said the team is made up of 3 recent grads.
Undergrads.
Undergrads. Is that, are you all 3 kind of still able to continue this? Are these 3 locked in for the 8-15 team, or is there some transition there from other people's teaching?
These three are locked in. We had a previous agreement to keep working on this. Thank you.
Would you want to know the price for the $10 worth?
Well, because I mean, I was standing in the queue of consumer. I mean, I have to look at our credibility, which is none at the very beginning. So it's just me thinking myself as a customer, looking at this new game that looks good, but it's a new studio, so who knows if it's good or not. And $10 is the amount I would pay to try it out. Max. $10 max.
I was going to say that the tactical reflex part kind of reminds me of that Mario plus Rabbids game in the way that it's tactical, but you can also move around a lot. It's freely movable in a lot of ways.
Yes, yes. Even though like the campaign part looks like a big part of the game, but then the most of the time you'll be spending in a street environment and fighting ships or just dealing with NPCs. Yes, we will be moving a lot.
Also, what are you going to be putting on the console? What point? There's a PC in
Yes, I understand like console and mobile, they take a huge chunk of the market, but then I also think that it's best I will get it out as soon as possible. And probably the easiest platform to get out, and probably the most familiar to us, is PC. So PC out to get the first revenue, and then start transferring it to console using those revenues. So it's getting it out, that's the priority, and then expanding it, that's what that comes out.
Hi, I really like your ideas for this worlds, water-based, wild civilization. What were your inspirations?
Yes, my inspiration is the movie Dune. So I never read the book before, I just saw the movie, so it's kind of like a big shock for me how different it is. So I was like, wow, this, it's the whole thing, it's sci-fi space opera, desert planet, why have to be a desert planet? But again, Dune is a difference. Other sci-fi fans always find similarity between that and our own world, but then Dune is essentially so foreign. And I just want to replicate that experience into a video game. And I mean, what's more malleable and what's more, what has more basically possibility than sand and just water. And the ocean planet, I always like to see, maybe that's also part of it. So I'm thinking, I also like it's ready because it's a concept with a lot of possibilities. So yes, that's where the inspiration comes from.
Since this was something we talked about earlier today, how do you plan on compensating those 18-15 developers that I'm bringing on? Do you have any like plan for like I don't know, equity, or do you plan to like get other funds to pay them, or aside from having the owner person the game, what else are they getting after?
Yes, we will mainly ask for basic. To be honest, we will be mainly asking them to invest in our game, taking credits. But we'll also offer commission options. So I the stipend from that Upstate this summer So I have that amount of money I can use to pay people who, instead of working on the whole project, pay them to work on some aspect of it, like street music or the weather system. I just pay them once and pay them for that one thing. I also offer that on the table if they want.
I have this sort of like, maybe more of an observation even than a question, but it's about the feel of this game. So you started out talking about like the inspiration of Doom and these just these epic, fantastical worlds in that cinematic space, and that's kind of like a core experience is this awe and majesty and strangeness of the alien world. And it's interesting seeing this evolution where it seems that we've gone from like naval strategy game to then more fast-paced, maybe naval tactical battles, more like more immediate to the experience. And I wonder if it might go even further than that. Like, is the combat even needed? Like, when you talk about Doom, I think about Germany, as a game of epic sandscapes, but without strategic combat, or tactical combat at all. That starts to fall away from the core of the game experience. So, I wonder if you thought about that, about what the core of that experience is that you're slowly developing towards.
That's an interesting question. I mean, I always had felt thought I had a valid idea of what the game's gonna be like. But you know, when the prototype is out, when you actually test it, things will become different. So I had a vastly different perception of my own game a month before I joined the program, but now it's a whole different scene. And I think it's a good direction. But talking about maybe just focusing on the journey aspect, I want to say that maybe we can go to that direction, but I also would like to be honest is that in the movie Doom, besides the sand, the two moons, and how weird those people dress, it's like the combat system. That's weird. They have lasers that they use. They fight with sword, and they have dragonfly helicopters. So the artificial aspect, the human aspect of it is, I think, it's also crucial to the unique experience. So I can't say for sure if we're gonna move towards that direction, but I'm saying right at this moment it's unlikely.
Yeah, it's really been interesting watching this one as a development process. Really is one of those examples where prototyping and playtesting is how you're learning what the game is by actually using it. Yes. All right, so ready to thank you again.
Thank you.
Presentation from the blog. So next up, joining us from sunny Rochester is Growler Interactive.
Can everybody hear me? Yeah. Cool. So my name is Chris Stock. I am a Growler Interactive, also the technical director here. And I'm here to talk about our next game in the country. So first, just a little bit about us at Growler Interactive. We're an indie developer in Rochester, New York. We're made up of you have an experienced team. There's myself on the software development side. I've had a lot of experience in software development, in interactive media development, such as web and mobile and etc. And my business partner, Aaron Ebor, had a previous studio that did interactive learning design. And his background is on the creative side, so he was acting as the creative director there. We formed Growler Interactive, and were accepted into the RIT Venture Creation Business Incubator. And under tutelage of our advisor there, we've worked on our mission and business plan, because everybody wants to make games, but it's good to have a focus and a niche that you can fill. And ours is focusing more on the late elementary to middle school age group, but making sure that our games are fun for all ages, while also keeping our focus, on those that age range. And we are working on a prototype process where we prototype our ideas and then gather feedback, from external testers, and then incorporate that into our prototype, or decide, where we want to go with the game and how we want to carry on from there. So that brings us to Aetherpunk Trader. It is a trading simulator with real-time battles. For the different members of the team, our influences come from a few different areas, including an old game called Taipan, a Macintosh shareware game called Escape Velocity, and various other training simulator or more like top-down battle simulators that we've all played in the past. So in Aetherpunk Trader, you're set in a steampunk world. You're the captain of an airship, and there are the oceans of this world are made of this like gaseous aether that is used as the fuel in the ships. So the types of things that you can do in there is you can trade goods between different ports. You can accept bounties to go after different pirates that have been harassing traders in the along trade routes. And you can upgrade your ship to either carry more goods or better handle the pirate situation. So one of the major things in this game is having to fight off pirates, that you encounter in your travels. In these real-time airship battles, and the goal is to become a successful trading captain. So in these battles, what happens is you travel between the ports. There's a chance to trigger some sort of an encounter. Right now we have pirates, or if you have a bounty that happens to be along that trade route, you might encounter that bounty instead. Where you are placed into a 3D view, kind of behind but on top of your ship, and you're in this kind of walled off zone, surrounded by aether on all sides. It's almost like an arena battle where you're flying your ship. You use the weapons on your ship, like your cannon off the sides, the port and starboard sides, or you can drop these air mines here that float behind your ship. And try to dodge the enemy fire while also, lining up your own shots to take down the pirates or even the bounties. Those tend to be a tougher sell. The idea is that eventually we would have other types of encounters. So you might encounter like a storm that you have to, navigate through without your ship getting destroyed or torn up. There might be some sort of race feature where maybe, somebody challenges you to a race and you have to try to beat them through some sort of obstacle course, or even wildlife encounters where you have something like, say, air sharks or other types of naturally occurring obstacles that you have to handle. So our release plan for this is, we are getting to the point where we have a total game loop prototype. We are, currently working on testing that and improving that to the point where, we feel comfortable showing that off to, more people in the public. There is actually the Rock Game Fest, Rochester Game Festival is next month, and our plan is to show it off there and gather feedback from people who are, coming to check that out. And then using our prototype process, we've built this prototype. We're going to get the feedback, improve it, or add fixes and features, and then repeat the process. And in this case, we have the game loop, but we need to build the world. So as you can see in the picture here, we have, say, 3 ports. Obviously people are going to want to explore more than that. We have a handful of upgrades, maybe 1 or 2 ships ready to go that you can upgrade to. And as I mentioned before, we have the additional challenges and then also a story that we would love to add in there and help build the world more than just landing at these ports and seeing what each one what the flavor of each port is versus the others. And that brings us to the Q&A portion.
What is the game loop? Like, what's the core game loop?
What was it?
You want to
Sorry, we have an overly elaborate AV system here. Chris, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. What is the core game loop?
So the core game loop is traveling between the ports. While you basically click on a port and travel to it. At this point, we talk about that more interactive. And there's a chance that you might be attacked by pirates, at which point it would drop you into this, real-time battle where you're controlling your ship. If you get pulled into one of those, then it's more arcade style, like you're controlling your ship in real time. You're trying not to get hit and trying to take out the pirates. Once you arrive at the other port, you can, land at the port, sell goods that you have on your ship. You might need to repair, if you took some damage from the pirates. You can buy new upgrades, and in the future, our plan would be like maybe there'd be missions that you could accept that would help move the plot and story along, and then just rinse and repeat.
Question I have is, so your target audience, elementary school, middle school players, in a game of this type. So there's complicated, resource systems management. There's kind of a sophisticated air combat that you're simulating. How do you approach designing a game like this for that target audience?
Yeah, so when we first started making this game, we were still kind of developing our target audience. Now that we've kind of landed on that, that has been a challenge, and it's certainly more complicated than I think we would necessarily want it to be. We have some ideas on how to kind of simplify and maybe gamify some of these things that may not be as appealing to like a younger audience. For example, we had talked about when you're buying supplies to sell, maybe instead of just looking at the numbers and saying, oh, I'm just going to buy a whole bunch and, until my ship is full, if it was more like, okay, these are more like maybe Tetris shaped pieces, and here's your ship, and you can just drag and drop and fill in as many as possible, where it, makes it much more intuitive to a younger audience of what they're doing. And maybe more interesting or fun especially to those that are like, oh, this is now a challenge where I want to fit as much as possible. Maybe I don't have to, because I'll still be successful if I just, carry something and trade it somewhere else. But, the idea is that it would be something that's still interesting to them, without turning off some of the older players.
Thanks. Other questions? Maybe you could talk a little bit about the art style as well, where that's going. So there's some really beautiful concept arts, illustrations in the slides, and then seeing like a little bit of like what the 3D game is looking like. What's your what's your sort of inspiration and approach to developing the aesthetic of this world?
Yeah. I think I'll pass that one over to Aaron, our creative director and artist.
Sure, yeah. So can you guys hear me all right? Okay, cool. Yeah, so our inspirations come from some of the, and again, this is where I think, one of the previous questions about our age is of serious consideration about how we approach this. But right now, it is a little bit more sophisticated. I think Chris, Tyler, and myself had really talked about maybe rethinking the approach of this, because some of our inspirations are things like some of the Final Fantasy work, some of the old RPGs and whatnot. So that in and of itself kind of leans into like maybe a little bit of an older demographic. So that is something that we have to talk about, just because of our current target audience is a little bit on the younger side of things. So we believe that we can get there, but we've started to essentially de-res some of our 3D models into something a little bit more simplified, a little bit more super deformed in a sense, some of the ship designs, and so we're accounting for that to make that a little bit more appealing to that younger demographic. So
Great, thank you. Let's see, if there's any other questions? One more.
So, what is your budget and development time?
Well, we haven't actually set one yet. We've been working on this to get the prototype done so that we can decide, how we want to continue this project and where we want to take it. And I think that'll help us set the scope before we can decide, okay, we need, how many developers do we need and what the timeline would look like. For example, that world would need to be much more complicated if we were going for an older audience where, they're going to want much more to explore, much more to do. Whereas if we are able to, pivot into that younger audience, that maybe we don't need quite as many ports developed and quite as complex of a story to go along with it.
Brown Raptor. All right, next up we have Werewolf Room Studios. Alright, so Max, how you doing? We are Werewolf Room Studios, also known as Werewolf Studios. So let's begin with who we are. Well, to answer that, we're just a group of friends that met up at Hudson Valley, and we saw how we're looking at the gaming industry and we're thinking it's good, but there's not enough kind of interesting games out there. So what we thought is that I am creating currently writing a book, and I showed these to my book, and I read it, and I said, look, this is amazing. This would be a good game to make, though I don't know how many people would want to make it. So basically, we also want to make games that are created to more people with essentially good intentions rather than predatory ways. So again, continuing, what started as a idea? Yeah. So our motto is, as you can see, wait, what? Go, one more. Exactly. It's like the second, third slide. One more. Going more, back. No, continue. One more. Sorry. Right. Yeah, there. As you can see, our motto is, yeah. Our gamers should be playing the games. The gamers should not be playing the games. Now, I believe this because a lot of games out there do microtransactions, and they rely heavily on the microtransactions. Look at the other Immortal, for example. It's a mobile game, and you have to spend at least tens of thousands of dollars, $100,000, just to get one decent item in the game. So, our vision, So our vision is to create fun games to play that are engaging for people of all ages. We also want to bring back some of the learning-based games like Read Rabbit and things, because I used to grow up with them and they were really, I remember them being very fun, and they helped me a bit with being autistic myself. So we'd also like to reinvigorate the game industry, as a lot of the never games fail to inspire or engage with the community as well. And now that we're done with that,
yes. So the current game that we're working on is The Adventures of Guy the Robot. It's a 3D platformer with a heavy emphasis on magnetism. The story of the game is summarized is the robot Pi wakes up from the private pod and finds himself wandering through a planet from the pod that he was aiming crash lands on to find his creator. He's destined to find his creator throughout the episode. With some screenshots. So these. Oh, yeah. So the upper left-hand corner is manipulating the magnetic items. It's a little gray in the screenshots. Those are placed up that it will have seen that firsthand. This top right-hand corner is a glitch that our consultant found where you can actually surf on the magnetic objects. Not intentional, but extremely fun. Well, actually, the top right and the bottom left. And then the bottom right is an example of one of the puzzle levels where you have to get magnetic cubes into colored sockets. So, the game, as I said before, the game relies heavily on magnetism, especially navigation to magnetic walls and traps to people, and manipulation of objects in the game. The game mode was also quite dynamic, so there's not one set path where you can go. You'll need to use the magnetic objects in creative ways to solve puzzles. As I said, there's more than one way to solve a puzzle. And the story, to summarize, the main character finds front pages from the sketchbook, helping lead him closer to the creator. These appear as sort of sketch-like things. They're hard to read for both the player and the character at first, but get easier as the player goes back to them and playing levels. And also there are small snippets of concept art, which can be significant levels of attention. What makes the game awesome is the storyline. The game is not narrative heavy, but there's enough of it in there, and there will be enough of it in there to keep the player engaged. The game includes stylized, semi-realistic levels to run through, with each level having its own charm and unique aspects. Maze-focused levels, with plenty of objects that can be manipulated in the world. And the back and forth banter between Pi and his AI friend, who he meets by the second level, explorable. Yep. No.
Our timeline for this game is to be released the second week of September. We also plan to make promotional materials for this game and show off the basics, re-upload our demos, and develop an audience we also intended to develop at least 3 games by the end of this year. This includes 1 large game and 2 smaller games. We plan to raise through money through sites like GoFundMe and Patreon by providing our demo and, of course, promotional items from our project. What we really need is to hire new people and create a community to make the company the best it can be. And we still also have some brochures, so if anyone's interested, you can grab a brochure. And you can also find us on social media like LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.
That's it.
Questions? Are you all full-time developing games or part-time? Because it's you said you want to make 3 games by the end of this year. That I think that's really ambitious. And also, second week of September is not far from today. So I'm just wondering, are you full-time to be able to commit to that?
For right now, yes, we are.
Yeah.
We will probably go into part-time eventually, so that we're looking at jobs. We are alumni of UAlbany. But for right now, yeah, we are full-time.
Thank you.
Sort of on that same point, just wondering why the push to have such an aggressive release schedule. What does that afford you versus focusing on one game this year?
Because the truth is, been playing around with this for a while, and we've had so many setbacks that, I mean, it may be unrealistic, but we're just tired of seeing things go past and saying, just like, okay, this is why we need to see, this is why we need to do this, this is why we need to do this. Microtransactions getting really predatory, and well, yes, again, it might be unrealistic. We do want to get the microtransactions in because, as I've been saying, and anyone who's been talking to me, we plan to put microtransactions into a game, but with a twist. Every percentage of microtransactions that is bought, we plan to put in with a nonprofit. I am talking to nonprofits, and they're saying, show us something sooner rather than later so that we can do it. So, I mean,
And not only that, also, to add to your first point, we've been doing this for quite a while, and there have already been people who know us personally know that there have already been at least 2 projects that we've had in development where our idea, we can't use the idea anymore because that type of game was already released. There was a mobile game, and I think a PC game. I can't remember what they were talking about. But the sooner we can get off the ground, the better. It's the easiest to do that. You want to think about? No? No? Next. Okay.
I just wanted to point out something I noticed with the game of the robot you're making, how the robot. The main mechanic reminds me kind of one of the Sonic games where you play silver and you have to move things around by like moving the objects around you, like solve puzzles and attack enemies and stuff like that. So I just thought it kind of reminded me of that. Yeah.
well, part of our inspiration for the magnetic model was Breath of the Wild, right?
Yeah, Breath of the Wild, and then also the native version of the game actually was I was watching this YouTube video, I forget what it was, where you go over the bad games, and one of the ones was this PlayStation 1 game which had a platform with a full reliance on magnetism. So I was thinking, I haven't seen many other games platform with magnetism, and considering there are some skills from
And we also figured we could get some funny glitches out of it too. And like one of the ones I was doing when I was play testing it, I was floating through the air on the block. And I was floating out of the boundary and having fun with it. So
yeah.
The only thing is, I think I watched that same YouTube video that you're talking about with the PS1 game with Terra Magnetism.
Yeah.
Other questions? All right, well, thank you very much. Eager to see how this one develops. Whether that's in the second week of September or if it gets kicked back a little bit later. Yes, sure. Thank you. Okay, so up next, we have Headstone. Ooh, that really does not look very clear. Okay. Hi, that's Jeffrey too. My name is Alexis, and I am co-founder of Headstone Interactive, and we have the camera that leads. So, what is the camera that leads? You'll just have to listen to me. So, the camera that leads is a noir or mystery game where you play a ghost hunting detective who must solve supernatural mysteries using an instant camera that can see into the supernatural world. On the right here, you can see when you take a picture, despite nothing being there, with naked eye, you can see there's probably a ghost there. It's a horror mystery game. It's a single-player campaign game. We're envisioning this being like 5 chapters. It says that it's 15 hours, but leaning more towards 10. And we're targeting PC and consoles, and maybe VR if Oculus will give us money. So what is the core gameplay like? So you're a detective, so you're unearthing invisible clues from the past using a ghost hunting equipment. That includes your camera, as well as a radio and your tape board that can track your evidence. So we have this sort of like mystery web UI there. And also, it's a horror game. So there's a monster that's also invisible lurking in every supernatural site that you visit. And each one will have different behavior, and you'll have to learn how to engage in different ways. So, what tools do we use? First, you got your camera, of course. This is able to photograph invisible echoes of the past. And not only can you see things from the past, but you can also manifest invisible objects like keys and notes that will help you progress in unlocking areas. We also have a radio that lets you listen to conversations from the past, hear sound effects that might suggest something and give you other clues to progress through the game. And we have a folder that sort of acts like a mystery web, like a conspiracy board that develops over the course of developments and the facts that you discover, so that you can, keep track of the mystery and yeah. So Head Direct is a diverse, multidisciplinary team that was formed over the last 3 years. We started as me and Buddy at RIT. We're all RIT graduates, and we've grown over time from a small, weekend game jam into a larger, almost commercial studio. And we've even had the luck to bring on some pretty experienced developers who have worked on games like Gotham Knights, Space Marine, Diablo Resurrected, I am a Blizzard. So, yeah. Next. Anything else? Oh, yeah. Our time. So, once we get funding, we plan for production to take about 2 years. We have a pre-production phase where we try to focus our core mechanics, and then that's it. We're talking with publishers right now who are interested in funding our game. So hopefully, wish us luck, we can wrap up those and actually pay ourselves money. Contact at Headstone Games. We also have a website, CanadaPlease.com, and you can also follow us on Twitter at CanadaPlease. The end. I guess it's discussion time.
So, is the entire character more of a blank slate, or does the character have agency in story?
And we're planning on our player characters being more defined than some first-person games that have 7 protagonists. In this game, we play we sort of lean into the noir trope of part of our design philosophy is we want to lean into noir tropes and the things that are talking about them, but give a fresh twist. So our player character sort of leans into that style, but is more feminine. So we, Grizzle Detective is going to be like monologues as they go through. We're envisioning cutscenes between scenes where there's comic book style themes here and there. So yeah, much more defined character than some of the types.
First off, that's really cool. My question is, when you're going around when you need to use the camera to see the hidden elements, so how do you find, how do you narrow down where those elements will be without basically random taking pictures all over?
This is a great question that we are trying to answer ourselves. Firstly, the camera has a little Geiger counter sort of proximity sensor that starts to go off when you hear a ghost. And so we're also planning on incorporating our radio that we're still integrating radio mechanics. But we're planning on the radio, you pull it out, and it shows directions in which supernatural sounds are coming from. And so that will give you a way to detect when you hear something. And then you can use your camera to sort of focus in on and find details in those environments.
Hi, I'm curious if you put any considerations to the marketing yet? Is that something you've already worked on, something you're looking into, something you're kind of expecting to publish with you?
I'm definitely leaning toward handing that off to a publisher right now. Most of our team right now is more focused on content creation, programming. We don't have a lot of marketing skills. We actually did do a bit of experimenting with marketing via social media. But we had a pretty successful little stint on TikTok. But it got to the point where, we actually got like 8,000 views on our videos. I highly recommend TikTok if you're interested in marketing your game. But it got to the point where we were too busy to really continue feeding content, and it was a bit too much stress and workload for us as we're trying to develop a core of our game still. And it's also hard to promise things when things are so early and things are shifting around. Like, initially we promised, hey, we'll have a demo out by summer, and now it's a year later and next summer. So, let's not learn the hard way there. Very sorry for a lot of things on TikTok for video science. But yeah, hopefully that's the one who knows what they're doing next week.
So what's been your experience working with Unity on the technical level, implementing features, bug fixing?
Oh, so this project is actually being in Real Engine. Same question. Sure, yeah. So in Real Engine, I involved with Unity, and this was many years ago. But Unreal Engine can be a bit like intimidating because there's a lot of things on the screen when you open it up. But it's cool, but very robust and scalable. Like once you learn how they work, you can sort of see like how powerful they are. It really does a lot of things for you. Like they have a lot of built-in localization tools. Their LOD system, especially with Unreal 5, like Nanite, is pretty powerful. So yeah, if you know how to use the tool, you can do a lot with it. And you can also jump between using more beginner-friendly stuff like visual scripting, which lets you sort of drag and move around and build gameplay functionality visually. Between that and also traditional like C++ programming stuff development, which is pretty cool.
I'm very interested to see if you have like industry professionals from the Upstate Pitch in your team, and your field looks like a very well functioning business at this point. So my question is, where do you get your income? Did you get income, and how did you recruit your team members?
So I kind of cheated a little bit. The developer who worked on Document, we actually had 2 people who worked on Document. They're sort of waiting in the ranks for publisher funding. We went through like a hiring process, and we're like, hey, if we got publisher funding, given this timeline and budget, this is what we'll be paying you. And they were like, yeah, let's do it. Let me know. So they're sort of waiting the ranks in terms of, and the Diablo Portal one, is it Diablo one? No, Diablo Resurrected. Davis, the other half of the founding team, worked on that while interning at Care Decision, and I worked at the Sugar also. So a little cheating to get those names up on the slide. As long as people don't ask prank questions. Any other questions? Yeah.
So I think you mentioned that you're going to radio into this conversation in the past. Where are you sourcing voiceover talent?
So right now we have another from our IT student who is acting as our audio engineer and Foley artist, and who also has a lot of experience doing voice acting himself. So a lot of our current assets in game are voiced by him, voiced like 4 different characters, power to him. And he also has experience doing voice acting direction. So in the future, we plan on him sort of owning that part of the game, and we plan on contracting out voice acting, basically piece as we go. We have like a portion of the budget set aside, based on how many hours of voice, work we expect people getting to be involved, but otherwise it's kind of just like, we'll just conference here and there. Sure. Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
Oh, yeah, sure.
5?
I was gonna say that the narrative seems, mystery heavy, and have you worked backwards from an ending, or is that sort of still, coming along?
Yeah, so the big mystery is also a mystery as well. We're still like figuring out what the grand mystery is. We have like an inkling of where we're going with it. Like, obviously there are so many ghosts in reality. Where did they come from? And so there are a lot of questions that we kind of arrived at as we iterate on what concepts are interesting, like, invisible, supernatural entities, like that maybe like, manifestations of past trauma or whatever, or programs that have happened in the past. And so there's a lot like there that we can explore still, but otherwise it's pretty ill-defined right now. Yeah, we're hoping that eventually our narrative design also is waiting in the ranks for money. Will be able to help us sort of tidy that up and give us fun answers to those questions that are interesting and novel. Any other questions? Well, thanks everyone. I was going to say, I'm very interested to see where the story goes on this little while also. A bit like the, I don't know if you could maybe the name of something like the TV show Walk. Yeah, hopefully it doesn't go that. Like in the first season where they introduce all of the amazing things and that's like, what do we do with it? Okay, thank you. So, next up we have 100 Studios. Games.
100 Games.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here. For sticking through this long for all of us. So we are 100 Games. To introduce myself a little bit, my name is Claire. I'm a 3D artist and graphic designer. This is Sarah. She's our awesome 2D artist and graphics. And CJ is a programmer and designer. And today the unit we're going to be talking about is Department of Physics. Okay, that's alright, so let's talk about our first. So Time Drake was from 2020. When we first formed the studio, we really wanted to focus on creating sort of casual, fun games that make it really fit. So we sort of had like 3 pillars that we strive for in our games that we make. Having a compelling narrative design, eye-catching visuals, and unique mechanics that we want to see in mechanic combinations. So our first game was Apocalypse, which some of you guys were this morning, we played. It's a logic puzzle game, potion brain logic game, where you run your own motion shop. And now here at the Upstate, we are working on promoting our next project, Department of the Devil. Our goals for during the Upstate to get our current game to its alpha form, and also to improve our social media side. One of the demo puzzle we had in platforms that we weren't able to promote it as much as we could. So this Department of the Devil is a escape room style game. We're trying to escape from hell. Bureaucratic hell specifically, where the only way to escape is through the office of the devil himself. However, in order to do this, you need to be a little bit stealthy because you are rifling through the devil's stuff to try to get your way out of hell. And he might not be super happy about that if he catches you. So you need to be sure to be cautious, be smart, and a lot of the gameplay is about the relationship between you and the devil himself, which if you go to the next slide, we have a wonderful scary game. One of the unique mechanics of the game is that the devil is responsive to you. If he catches you rifling through his filing cabinets, he's going to put rocks on them. If you are standing up and he comes back in, he's like, I told you you're seated. What are you doing? And maybe he'll come back sooner next time. And there's sort of a jailer-prisoner approach to this relationship. And it's something that we really want to get into to make our game more
the with our development schedule. So, oh gosh, this is very good. So, as you can see, we did actually fulfill our goal of getting our game 2 alpha. For us, what that meant was getting the puzzle progression of the escape room progression complete. So the full puzzle progression is there, but the devil mechanic is only still in its very early forms. We wanted to make sure that the player could actually escape from hell before we start, implementing the ways that the devil can mess with. That's what we're hoping to do for our beta, which we want to have done by the middle of September. We're currently about to be starting our milestone next. We're going to be hard for it. Beta will be having the game fully playable with the full content complete, essentially, but still obviously having small bugs and things of that nature. And then we hope to have the game ready to ship by October. Our main goal is to have it out for Halloween. That would be a really good push, especially if we can get a lot of streamers in on it, get a lot of keys out there. But obviously our high-term goal would be October 16th. And then if we needed to push it back by a week or two, we would still be hitting that high. And yeah, any questions? Any questions?
So for CJ, what is this kind of new territory for you as a designer, and what problems does a highly curated content like this provide?
There's definitely some new territory with this. Whenever we do a new game, I always want to make sure there's at least some new things I want to do. Like when we were brainstorming for this game, one thing I was like, I've never made a first-person game. We're making a first-person game. I don't care what this. So but a lot of like the puzzle mechanics we can bring over from complicated stuff. But the big issue that we're focusing on for development is we're trying to avoid this sort of negative feedback loop that this devil mechanic inherently has. So the idea is, if you leave a door open or mess up somehow, the devil gets upset and punishes you. But the thing is, if he punishes you, in theory, the next time it'll be even harder. So making sure that there's a balance there where you feel like you're being punished for, leaving things a mess, but you're not so punished that you can't progress. And it's like it's a balance that we're paying very close attention to. And that's definitely the biggest design challenge for this game.
From a narrative point of view, with that keyword of bureaucracy in hell, and just visually looking at the devil and his behavior in the game, where he's sort of lightly punishing you, like the devil's supposed to bring you down to hell and burn you in fire for eternity, but this guy is more, he's kind of just like he's just a strict like that. He's just, so what's that going to bring story-wise, having a bureaucratic
I talk about this a little bit. So one of the things that I prefer on it, right, is the tone of the devil. Because we want him to be threatening, but we also want him to be kind of laughable. Something that I've been looking at a lot is the writing for GLaDOS games. How GLaDOS is ultimately extremely scary, but is also hilarious. Like, she says so many things that you just laugh at, even though it's absolutely terrifying. And that's sort of where we're trying to strike that balance. So we're going for not necessarily a chaotic evil devil, we're going for a lawful neutral who is enforcing this bureaucratic hell because that's what the paperwork says he's supposed to do. And he's very intimidating if he wants to be, but he doesn't necessarily have to be. Anyways, does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Thinking about like a father character, sort of just based on what the playing interaction, was there a process in sort of going to But, you know, what was the process like? Four.
Yeah, so I told 2 years. And I also did all of the concept art for this game. So all the 3D models were, were 2D, and I kind of just did schematic style sort of drawings from there. There's a lot of notes. But Claire is like a very experienced 3D artist, so she knows how to work off of these. We've also worked on 3D projects before with that kind of pipeline, so it's functional from the art side of it.
Yeah, and something I want to add, just like more kind of like something that we're having to think about that is easier to do with Poppy is like framing. In a Poppy, we control your camera angle with just one. So it's very easy to make sure that one camera angle is pleasing. And so making sure that the room is like detailed enough and like dense with things to check out and explore. This like the first image you see of the devil right here is like where you start the game whenever it comes back and talk to him. So we're like making sure that this like sitting down in front of him and feels right. Yeah. We're working. Yeah, that's definitely like visually I think major shit from a problem.
I was wondering if the player would have like a demo or if the demo would experience like that during the tutorial sessions.
Okay. So we want to do. That's a tough question. So we want it to feel like very immersive. We want it to feel like a good space. So when we're doing tutorial stuff, we don't want it to be too heavy-handed. But I feel like an important thing that we realize, definitely with place hosting, is giving a sense of direction to start out. So I think the devil might give you some guidance, just not directly, like things like if the thing that you have to work on is fixing the clock, he'll just make a remark about that clock. He won't say that you have to do it. And something else that we also plan on doing in our area is we put sticky notes that the devil has left around. Like he has a sticky note on the clock saying someone get the same clock fix, you know. So we do want to like have some tutorials to like guide the player, but make sure it's very integrated into the room and making it feel realistic.
Any other questions?
I guess we're close to home. I think some people know about this, but it's also a bit of bureaucracy every now and then. We have going through this thing with travel reporting and filing my concur reports for some travel and keeping in compliance with the Institute regulations. And I discovered, so one of the interesting things about hell is that it has multiple circles. And so now I'm isolated to the IRS. Or descended, whichever. Anyway, thank you. I hope you all enjoyed these presentations. Another big round of applause for all of us. It's been an intense 6 weeks, and it's been a real privilege to have the opportunity to work with all of you this summer. Before we wrap up, let's see if there's any community announcements, any upcoming events, anything anybody wants to share before we go.
I thought we were supposed to have a one upstate.
Okay. Yeah. Yes. We got it. Okay. Well, yes, thank you. This is such a fun day. Yeah, it's been great. So, I just want to say big thanks to the Technology Space for being the part of this collaborative way with OTI and with our departments about, of course, gravity hosting, as well as on Upstate. So I just have a couple of
announcements that I want to share. So you can continue on to the next. I think people know me, so we can read through this, but hey, I'm Jamie. Video games, I make some video games inspired by local history and culture. You can check them out at edition.itch.io for some fun. I have a little flexible studio called Skinny Bird, working on an adventure game called Ding.itch for a 90s sleeper. Keep it rolling. But the main thing that I'm here to talk about is Game Space. We are a community of game developers, and we're also a nonprofit that supports independent game developers here in the Capital Region. We support independent game developers, and we also support aspiring game developers and work to make game development more approachable and welcoming for a wider array of practitioners from different backgrounds. And we work lots of different community events, and as many of you know, we also do co-working right out of the States. So we have a $50 a month membership where if you want to be in a creative space around other folks who are doing game dev stuff and all sorts of other fun and creative projects in the makerspace, then you're able to join in through our website. We also have a board that runs the nonprofit that consists of representatives from local game studios, local colleges and universities, as well as some non-local universities. And we're just generally a hub for game developers and anybody interested in interactive art in general. Keep it rolling. We've had lots of cool game projects emerge from the community over the years. It always makes me excited to just look around and see all the wild stuff and all kinds of different genres and experimental designs people are working on. So I really get a big charge of working with the game space and it keeps me motivated. So that's really the appeal of the co-working for me. And keep on. We have a few key programs. You're welcome to kind of check them out, but these are some of the names of them. I'm not going to go through them in any detail, but Orbit is a series of kind of virtual meetups and discussion groups that we host currently online. And you can check that out at technologyspace.org/Orbit. We host them pretty much every Saturday. Move right along. Yeah, so we've been in kind of virtual event mode since early 2020 for obvious reasons. And we tried to find all kinds of different ways via Discord and also via some virtual spaces and things. This was Mozilla Hub Space that one of our members, Abigail Matthews, created, where we hosted some talks and things. So, we tried to recreate some of the community spirit that we get from all our in-person meetups, which we did prior to COVID. But, it hasn't been quite the same, so it's been really great to be able to have our first in-person events since early 2020 here today. Keep it on. Yeah, because ultimately, we're a community that is trying to support local developers within the capital region. We're very regional focused. A lot of us obviously work in Troy, many of us, but also live in Troy. And this is actually an interactive showcase event, so that's what we kind of did here today with some of our members. I think everybody could play those games. This was one we did with the Arts Center, where we made games themed around local history and presented them on the side of the building. You might have walked past the Troy side if you walked on River Street. So I was sort of reflecting on prior versions of the interaction showcase from years back. This was probably 2015, 2016. Keep it going. This was the most recent photo I could find from the interaction showcase. So some of you have probably been to those events when we used to host them on a regular basis. We used to do them every Friday night at the Arts Center in their digital lab, where local creatives could just come and set up work in progress and get feedback from whoever happened to be at the Arts Center. So be quite little feedback. We had people go who had never played a game in their life before. It was wild. And that's one thing, we ported some of our events over to virtual formats, but this interactive showcase was one that it just felt like we couldn't figure out how to do it at the same time. So that's one of the reasons why our person went back. We really wanted to keep some of that. And so this was a photo I took from today. So I can't express enough how wonderful it is to on Tolbert and be able to share this experience with you as well. And I hope it has to you as well. So last but not least, just three quick special announcements to share. On to the next slide. So speaking of co-working, this is kind of what you would see kind of day-to-day co-working this space. It's always a lot of fun. So even though our events have been virtual, and we're continuing on primarily with virtual events for the foreseeable future, the co-working space here has remained active. So you can still become a member, you can still co-work day-to-day on here, and we hope that you do. And the announcement related to that is that we recently, not recently, if you can go back just for one second. Yeah, so some of you might have seen, but up on the kind of mezzanine area around the side of the campus space here, we now have a dedicated area. So previously we just kind of been in the general mix co-working, and we still are. That's still something that we love to do, of course. But we also have a little space that we can tailor specifically to the needs of game developers. And we have tons of equipment up there, game development workstations, Snap PC, everything ready to go, VR, SF, all flavors, and mobile devices, doing mobile games and different device desktop, and so on. So really just trying to make that space better. Yeah, you can do one. So yeah, if you are interested in just checking out a little more detail, you can of course answer any questions directly. Visit techvaluegamespace.org/join to get a breakdown of some of the other perks of membership. Second, pretty special announcement is that many of you know we do a lot of educational programs. So when I say we're trying to open up game development to a wider array of people, one of the ways that we do that is by partnering with local schools, both groups, other educational nonprofits, diversity-focused nonprofits, and so on. And we teach a lot of free classes. But that's often been kind of short-term classes. There's never really been like a long-term curriculum in place. But that's changing now because we are partnering with the center to teach a full year game development class that starts in September. That's going to be for high schoolers as part of their career training education program. So as part of that, we are looking for some curriculum developers in this page work, happy to say. So if you're interested in learning more and signing up, then you can do so at that bit.ly link, which I know is not the most wonderful link to remember. But you can see it posted if you check the TDGS social media and broadcasting that out as well. And generally, we have lots of opportunities, both paid and volunteer, for anybody who's interested in doing educational work, mentorship, and the like, and helping to encourage other folks to get into game development. I'm going to do the very last announcement. Because I could be lying. Last but not least, I'm so excited and grateful also to the support of RPI and the Center of Excellence to be able to announce that our liftoff program has received some funding, thanks again from RPI. We ran this back in 2018 and 2019. For those who don't know, liftoff is a diversity incubator program where first-time game makers from backgrounds that are underrepresented within the games industry create their first game over the course of about 7 weeks with help, lots of help from experienced mentors, including local mentors. So we strive to have enough mentors that we can match them one-to-one with a big cohort of people. We usually accepted around 10 or so folks for that program. And it's been on pause, due to COVID, we're trying to figure out how to rework it. But very excited to announce that we're bringing it back. So we can move along to the next slide. These are just a little bit of info. This was our sort of version of a pitch day sort of thing at the end of the program. The participants share their work. We have some panel discussions and things. So if you know of anybody who might be interested, even if they're not sure if they fit or think they might be too experienced, whatever, encourage them to take a look anyway. More people apply is never a bad thing, all right? So you can go to techvaluegamespace.org/liftoff. That landing page is open now, it has a lot more detail. And the sign-up form is also now active. And I think I picked the wrong image because the date for applying is actually later than that. I think it's the 23rd of September. So it got a little overrun. We'll be spreading the word. So any help spreading the word is greatly appreciated. And I think last slide, just a moderation to mention that we're also looking for co-organizers, mentors, and get one-off guests. If any of those things interest you, and you feel like a program like this is something that appeals to you and that you believe is important as we do, then please do sign up. Again, it's the same sort of document we do at some point eventually more these are running. So those are my 3 special announcements. And last but not least, just one slide I want to mention the various space. That's under ways to take the next with Tech Valley Game Space. Until we go our next in-person collaborative event again, the easiest ways are, as I mentioned, to sign up as a co-working member. If you're interested in trying it out, it goes month by month, so you can try it for a month, see if you like it. You're also welcome to contact us to schedule a tour if you want to kind of check it out in more detail. Sign up as an educator or mentor. We'd love to have you as part of our crew. And a lot of our activity is on the Discord. Since a lot of our events are still virtual, so if you get to the Discord, then I'd love to be able to greet a lot of you and see you join. That's pretty much the whirlwind tour. Thank you so much.
Hi, everybody. A question about is that going to be an in-person thing, so mostly for local people, or is there going to be a remote component?
Great question, thank you. So, actually, for this, thanks for that question. For this year's version, we're actually going to do a virtual version of it and try it again, just because we're still kind of trying to play it safe. As you can tell, we try to kind of be filmed and safety protocols for this event. That's as they for everybody to do. So, yeah, we're going to do it virtual this time around. But all things being good, and we're able to work with our RPI to continue to fund it, hopefully, eventually next year, we'll see. Then we'll have to kind of play it later in it. And yeah, hopefully next year we'll be able to bring it back as in person. But this year's going to be fairly virtual. Any other questions? Thanks, everybody.
And today now we have another very special announcement, but a really exciting new event coming up.
I'm speechless. Unfortunately, I was at the take our day because I was able to join everyone for the earlier announcements. Hi, I'm Anthony Ross. And we had one heck of a whirlwind of presentations that we had here today. So we need one more round of applause for everyone that gave the presentation today. So about a year or so, I commented on the Tech Valley Game Space social media right around the time of E3 was coming through. And I thought there's a lot being done. Well, I'm a control freak with my presentations. So just so you know, I do have a few slides that they may not complete on the first click, but I will give you okay. So I commented on there saying there's a lot of games that happening in the capital region and the Tech Valley region. Has anyone thought of doing like a big showcase? Just like really blow it out and let people know what's going on. And apparently that's been discussed. And I brought that up because there's just so much going on, and I'm going to be an outsider into this year. And I know that the gaming industry is growing. It continues to grow. So let's take a few moments, just take a look at some of the numbers. In a report published by Grandview Research, the gaming industry is estimated to grow at a rate of 12.9% every year from 2020 to 2027. That's huge growth. With this growth, demand also increases. In an article from Engadget, the Sony CEO says that it takes them about 82 minutes to sell 80,000 units on their PS5 console. Yes, some of these are playing by bots and whatnot, but that still states that the demand is there. So that shows that gaming not only affects people making the games, but also the manufacturing business as well. And it also affects business in general and how we approach business. Earlier this year, Bungie announced that they are announcing a remote first approach to hiring. And at the time they announced it, they had 7 states that they had worked out tax arrangements with. Since then, they added another 11 states where you can work for Bungie fully remote from now 18 states, including New York. Click, please. Going back to my original thing, there's an immediate local impact as well. Now, I'm preaching to the choir in this group, I understand. But we mentioned earlier the tax credit in the final campaign. Not quite as much as the remote before I can understand, but it's there. It's acknowledged. Also, in the Center of Economic Growth, they have a Game On in New York landing page that outlines gaming cluster, mostly around shore. And also we have the games supporting other businesses. So the games industry supports other business initiatives, including Catapult Games, working with the Schenectady Police Department for creating a VR training application for de-escalating interactions. With all this, we already have several established cultural events. Now, by cultural events, I mean your large, put on displays at a convention center, such as the Hudson Valley Game that have been past few years at the Albany Capital Center. There's also the Retro Gamer Con that happens out in Syracuse, and it's a sister event, the Empire Game Expo. It came to Albany back in 2019, and then the play. So they haven't done that yet, but I know for a fact they are trying to come there. And of course, we have the various cultural conventions. Saratoga puts on 2 cons every year. There's also Mid-Hudson Comic-Con happening this weekend, I believe. I'm also in contact with the Agora here up in Glens Falls. So everything's there. But there's one piece missing. We have the esports and the competitive representative. We have all the cultural representatives. But what about the people who do it? And that's where we're coming with this. One Upstate is something that I've been working on in collaboration with people from the technology game space and a few others to create a new expo for the Tech Valley region and beyond. It will be a celebration of games and the people who make them. As I said, we've got the esports, we've got the consumer end covered. This will be a complementary event rather than competitive. Look, please. So what do we expect? Well, it's going to be an expo. But we're going to focus more on the business. So, of course, there'll be a live event for members of the community and of the industry. Yes, this will be open to the public, because we want as many people to become aware of this wonderful growing industry as we possibly can. Yes, there'll be presentations, demos from the local experts and professionals. All the stuff you would see at a normal convention and expo. We'll also be focusing on full workforce development lifecycle representation. That's a lot of purpose. Let me dig into that. Pretty sure single would understand that within no context whatsoever. But what I mean by this is, as gaming grows, more and more people are getting into it. I've said this several times already. This started at a number of ages. They enjoy games, they get more sophisticated, they want to create their own games at some point. Local high schools have started embracing gaming and student clubs and esports as well. But once they graduate, so the question then becomes for them and yes, understanding their parents, where do we go after that? Do we have any colleges or universities that have curriculum based in game development? Anyone? Any at all? Possibly? Possibly. So we have them in the division. And then after they get out of college, okay, you've gone to school, you've got your degree, now go out to the world and be a fruitful and productive member of society. We have people locally that are ready to hire from their local town. And that's what I mean by full workforce development and lifecycle representation. The entire lifecycle can be represented at this event. But of course, it's games, right? We're here to have fun. So our goal is, after we have the expo, full day event, demonstrations, workshops, and all that other fun stuff, shut down for dinner, open back up later at night. I've already contacted the DJ, he's been on Fly 92, and he also DJs CrossFit event, so he knows how to play high energy as background music for an event. And we're going to open back up the event space, and it's just going to be networking's done, business is done. That is our vision for what we want. Of course. Target audience, of course, we're going to go for the regional, the people with the big names that can draw attention and will have stuff to display. We also want marginalized creators. The internet can be a great equalizer. When I see a trailer on the internet, I have no idea what that person is, but I know I want that. We need to bring more diverse voices and representation to all aspects of the other game. Because the more diversity comes, the better the experiences will be. I firmly, wholly believe that. We also want to bring local creators. I asked the question regarding voice over time. There's a lot of stuff that's required. There's a lot of creative talent that's required to bring it into market. Let's bring all that. Let's bring that into the spotlight as well. And of course, the aspiring game developers. These are people who they want to know. They have an interest, but they don't know where to start. Come to one Upstate, we'll show you the way. Quickly. We're just getting started. We're still working through everything that takes to bring together an event of this size, but we're still already looking towards the future. First thing, we can increase from a single day event to a multi-day event. That's easy. It's an easy one. Develop more workshop and game jams. We initially discussed having a game jam, but we thought first year of the event takes a lot of resources, takes a lot of time for it to occur. Hold off until next year. Let's have the event first, then continue to build. And as we build and as we grow, bring on higher profile guests, bring on higher profile speakers. And when all of these things combine, we just increase our collaboration with a global industry. All right here in the tech valley region. Quick place. So here's what we need. First thing, we're still searching out for a venue with sufficient capacity and infrastructure. In our early stages, Jamie even mentioned a whole plethora, if you will, of wonderful, quirky, character-rich locations. And I shot almost all of them down. Because if we're going to have people showing off their games, every booth is going to need 120 volt. And I don't know if the most reception calls will be able to handle that electrical load. So we're going to be looking at the more traditional convention spaces. And of course, we're going to need volunteers for some execution, tear down, help with organization, all that good stuff. So if there's anyone in this room who's looking to get involved, that'd be great. Leading back to our partners and our supporters in the college area. If there are any students, student organizations looking for volunteer hours. Of course, at the convention, it's an expo, we're going to need vendors, we're going to need service suppliers, organizations for support. We're going to need speakers, panelists, presenters. If you have anything that you would like to present, Jamie will be handling that when the time comes. And in fact, I have already been speaking with Darian and Ben. I would love to have, for next year, everyone that participated in Level Upstate, I would block out a full hour just for this. I think that would be fantastic. We're aiming to have this the weekend after Level Upstate occurs. So you finish Level Upstate, give your pitches, have another week to polish some stuff up, and present it at a full expo. How's that sound? Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Okay. So also, click one more time, please. And yes, this is business, so we're going to need some sponsorship opportunities are in the works. We're almost done with setting up a slide deck for all of that. We are working with a few other partners for sponsorship slots and other funding opportunities. Click, please. Help us help you. All right, so the website is live at oneupstate.com. That is live and it has links to our socials. We have a newsletter that is fresh and ready to go. So to keep up to date with all of that development and all of those happenings, please sign up for the newsletter. We also have a general interest form. I don't know if the link is up there yet. I'm going to have to take notes. Okay, that will be there. So we have the general interest form complete. We just need to get the link up there. Additionally, we are on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I'm working to get a LinkedIn page established. Like, share, comment, love, react, all that good stuff. We need help satisfying and feeding that algorithm. Help us please. And please, I believe that is the end. Thank you so much for everyone who has stuck around this long. We intend to have this at the end of August of next year, and we are currently working with the support of the Game Space, of course, Retro GameCon in Syracuse, Crosstalk Media, Redfield Game Services, Discover Albany. They are the official tourism company for Albany County, and ACE. ACE is the Upstate Alliance for the Creative Economy, and they help out promoting the arts in the capital region as well. Thank you so much for listening to me. What questions do you have?
So when you say that among those who be represented in one upstate, meaning that there's going to be aspiring game makers, would that include giving opportunities to artists aspiring to be game makers to show off the work that they currently did?
If there's a way, I'm sure my voice is on. If there's a way to do it, we will find a way. Absolutely. I've discussed having the areas similar to an artist's alley, but for other people who are providing of the creative services, like visual arts, of course. We also are working for people who, crafters, we'll have a set aside number of booths for crafters, voiceovers, composition, all that stuff. So yes, we want to get the creative efforts in there as well. Fabulous, love to hear, love to hear. Who else has a question? Thank you.
With the implemented emphasis on inviting more marginalized creators to attend the event, especially and particularly with diversifying speakers as well, what are the plans to ensure that the event attracts those kinds of people, like there are other organizations that are helping with outreach to help bring in marginalized developers and particularly speakers to the event?
Okay, tag me, you're right.
Great question, Catherine. Yeah, so I've been doing a lot of outreach, because obviously we've organized like lots of conferences, yeah, but again, this is a new scale, and we're very excited about it. And this is the main area that I'm most focused on helping with. So I would love to talk to anybody who has any experience or suggestions that we can take on board. And I have reached out to some folks that I know whose events were, for me, a source of inspiration, especially for making sure that we, included marginalized creators as a key component in planning. So, of course, any contacts, places that being the Color Expo, being wonderful nearby plays that have done some Game Space members in the past, and that's the folks in there. Also, some contacts organized an event called Acadia, back in Denver, which is also one that has like a kind of a wide audience among just traditional dudes, really traditional white readers, but not just white dudes, put it that way. So it's, that's only the stuff. Like, we've got a lot of planning left to do. And I think, well, I kind of throw my hat in the ring to help with speaker outreach. I would love to end up doing well, and I think we'll get much better results with the more diverse we have helping in that area. So that's kind of the next step of that. And if any of you are interested, please let me know and we can start chatting. With that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Anybody? David, wait a minute.
Yeah, I just had a quick question about making sure that I do understand. So the idea was having like an actual event space with booths set up where creators showcase their creations, whether they are games or other forms of art form or this stuff. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And getting a booth there, are the plans to have there be like a fixed fee for applying to it, or would there be programs to bypass, like partnering with Level Upstate, would they get a booth automatically? I don't know what the details are about that. Just the slides.
No. Everything is a development. My standing answer for most things of this nature is I'm open to ideas. So initially, yes, we're working through what the booth space will cost. That'll depend on the venue that we're looking at, of course. There will be a flat fee for just, I want a booth space. Bang, here's my 10 by 10 square, and it is X dollars. There are also some sponsorship packages that include booth space or spaces, depending on the tier that you work with. And I am absolutely open to working with anyone who's willing to work for the effort and contribute. That's yet to be seen. I am totally open for it. If there are ways that you can provide additional content for the event, we can definitely work out something. Is that too general? Or is that good?
Very much doesn't think.
All right, thank you so much. All right, next Steve.
This is the last one. So like we do a lot of events around the state, and one of the things that I noticed is that events like this tend to either have a focus of connecting developers with other developers or connecting developers with players. And that tends to be like, how broad is it for the public, how accessible is it for people who are interested in the games industry? How do you see this event fitting in that spectrum? Do you see this more as a developer or developer advertising?
This is going to be more focused on developer to developer. Because I want to separate from the retro game account. I want to separate from the various account accounts. There will definitely be, I do want to stress this, I am working with another vendor for just a general free play area, for people just going to relax. I do want to be for people who have an interest in game development, but the focus will be more for developer to developer, and everyone else can come along for the ride. Awesome! Come on, just one question. What? You're on the set. What do you want?
I just wanted to say that I organized this. So if anybody here is interested in taking a role in planning, so it's not just the four of us at the moment. We're all, as you might notice, we're all white males. So if anybody is interested in joining the planning committee, please speak to me. I'll tell you when our meetings are. I'll tell you, I'll let you know, I'll let you help us decide when the meetings go, and so on and so forth. That way, this thing can become more open and more towards what we're aiming for.
So we do have a Discord. I didn't put a link on this just in case. I'm not going to do a lot of like open to public right now. It's just people who are effectively becoming plan, and that's where we're doing a lot of our coordination, communication. Well, I mean, for the purpose of this, sure we'll look into opening this thing up. Why not? This is our official announcement for one Upstate. So yeah, let's.
I'm not saying this is open to the general public because I don't want to make too many shots to that check. But if someone has something to offer, come in. Thank you.
I got some flyers with the QR code information. Does anyone want one? No? Anybody else?
That's it.
Oh. You have a question? Yeah. Okay. Anybody else? I'll give it to whatever. Yeah. All right. Is that it?
Sorry, it's bright.
I can't see
I know.
it.
Yeah. Thank you. I'll share with you.
All right. All right, thanks so much. All right, I think we're good. Thank you so much for sticking around. We thank you for being a good audience. Thank you all. Thank you.
Yeah, very excited about this event. It is something that many of us talk about in various forms, like the need for an event like this over the years. So it's really exciting to see it actually happen. Yeah, so we'll join in and help them make it together. Okay. If there's anything else? That's it. All right. So thanks everybody. It's been a wonderful day. You've been a terrific audience. It is all about working.